Top Assistant,
Yes,
episode
sir.
2. I'm Kevin Wilson alongside highly decorated coach Eric Skeeter. Big time. An episode drop. You don't call me no more. You don't text me no more. You showed up an
Yeah,
hour late.
yeah.
It's real out here, man.
Hey, I used to say my line used to be, "I got a face for radio." So,
Mm.
you know, uh, no, this is episode 2. Let's get it. Let's get it. Super excited, Kev.
All right, man. Well, let's start off on fire. You got some quick hits for them. Folks need to know what happened this week. What's on your mind?
So, I was fortunate to go to the Lacrosse Final Four. Okay.
Nice.
Philadelphia. Shout out to my man Ryan Tressel with NCAA. Ryan and I worked together at Youngstown State. He's now with NCAA championships, and lacrosse is one of them. So we touched base, and they're in Philly. So I said, "Hey, let's ride up the road. Got to get there." So took my sons up. What an experience! What if Penn State versus Duke, Notre Dame versus Virginia. Big time atmosphere in Lincoln Field where the Eagles play. Lower bowl full to the. I mean, it was great. Penn State lost to Duke in overtime on a controversial call. There's no replay in lacrosse,
Right.
so even in overtime, where like in the last 2 minutes of football game, last 2 minutes NBA, all plays are reviewable. All scoring plays are reviewable, right? Literally, the guy's foot was on the line, not tippy toes, but in the crease around the goal is an area that you can't. Only the goalie, just like in hockey and other sports, belongs to the goalie. So Duke player steps on the line, scores the goal. And it's up on the video monitor in the stadium. Like the Penn State fans are booing, the players, the coaches, they all see it. And there's nothing the referees can do. Overtime game, Duke wins. Next
Wow.
game.
Wow.
Yeah, heartbreaker.
Yeah.
Virginia, Notre Dame, same thing. Goes to overtime. 2 big time games. So for the first time going to a Final Four was unbelievable. But it took me back, having played lacrosse, 4th grade through college. And literally, so 2021, 22, we had our 40-year reunion of my Little League lacrosse team, St. Mark's Lacrosse. You might have seen me wear the shirts before. You'll see me wear them again. I'll never forget making that first travel team. Played 2 years of intramurals, and I made the travel team. My classmates at school said I only made it because I was fast. I said, "Well, I made it. You didn't." So,
Right. And the crazy thing is, you wasn't even that fast. It was crazy.
Hey, listen.
I'm disrespecting.
Lacrosse speed, power, conditioning, skills, right hand, left hand. I mean, it just took me back being
You
there.
just had all of that, huh? You just
Oh, listen, and my first year making midget A, so in midget A, St. Mark's, shout out to Coach Henry Stansberry and Barry Russell. We play on Johns Hopkins Homewood Field, championship game on Homewood Field. We won, and so there's a big trophy presentation. I was hooked. First of all, I was better than my big brother in some sport, because football, basketball, and baseball.
He had you.
If he had 30 trophies, I had 9. I mean, I wasn't even. He had almost triple the trophies I had as a youngster. So I said, "Well, you can't beat me in this." But NCAA does a great job. Notre Dame ended up winning in the championship. Shout out to Coach Kavanaugh, who's been there 35 years. Lacrosse head coach at Notre Dame's a Baltimore guy. 35 years. He finally gets the big one. He finally gets the title. Great weekend, great experience. Just having this thing around my neck and watching the games, but it takes me back to, and we'll talk about this in the end, being a part of a team, like the fandom. It's in all sports. Being a part of college athletics is unbelievable. Being a part of any team, Little League, a travel team, but today you buy the jerseys. I mean, I did it with my kids with the Tampa Tigers, Little League football. They got the name on the back. But making a team, I don't know if they cut kids anymore, because I got cut one time for the midget 18. My first time trying out. Got
Right, because you was trash, right?
Listen, it was 19 degrees outside. So lacrosse starts in the winter, kid.
Mm-hmm.
Lacrosse is in the winter. That's why I'm glad I played basketball, because I missed all
Indoors. Yeah.
I was inside.
Right.
When I did make it to high school and college, I was obviously 3 years of varsity and played JUCO. I was inside when the season started. So I was hooping.
Right. That's the excuse we're going with. I hear you.
Yes, sir.
That's I will never forget. Eric Skeeter throwing it back and had a great weekend, man. Kudos to all those teams, man. Lacrosse is ridiculously difficult to play, and it's also a sport that's growing nationwide. But on that East Coast, it's brutal. You gotta.
I gotta give this big rivalry between upstate New York and the Baltimore DMV area when it comes to lacrosse. Like upstate New York, Syracuse, Albany, Herkimer, Farmingdale, upstate New York. You come down, there's a big rush. So literally this Final Four, too, was the great middle point in Philadelphia, where it's halfway between New York and Baltimore. And so everybody met in between. Big time atmosphere. Philly's a great site. It's going to be there. I'll be back in 24 because it's hopefully, and it's back in Philly in 24. So, but unbelievable game, unbelievable atmosphere, unbelievable sporting event. And shout out to the NCAA. My guy Ryan Church did a great job.
We're going to discuss how much of a sellout you are. Where you get that shirt from, man?
Hey. So, the NBA Finals. Shout out to, I got to give my man, James Klibanoff.
Well, he stayed with a connect.
Jimmy Clib, okay? It's one of the head scouts for the Denver Nuggets. His former boss, Baltimore guy, Tim Connolly, has now left and taken the job. He was a general manager of the Denver Nuggets. He's now with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Sent me the gear years back. I've been riding with Joker.
There you go. They're the truth.
Right.
Oh,
Luka's
boy, he didn't call himself up.
Luka's my guy, but I've been riding with Joker for a minute. I've been riding with the Nuggets. Shout out to Mike Malone, my guy. Text me back.
His guy now, 2
a.m. When the guy texts you back, it's your guy.
Yeah,
so him and Stevie Graham, the coaching staff with the Nuggets, right? That they're now made it to the finals. You used to think about it: Colorado Avalanche, right? Denver Broncos, the Colorado Rockies, the base all have championships, right? All have rings. So now it's the Nuggets' turn. And in the words of my man Jimmy Clib, he say, "Go Nugs." So the finals. Wow, Kev, I gotta give it to Adam Silver as a direct. He's the understudy, but now he's in charge. He's the understudy of David Stern.
Mm-hmm.
It pains me to say this, Kev.
Uh-oh. He about to be honest finally? Go ahead.
I think the play-in games are here to stay.
So just for some backstory on this, this is only our second episode out in the public, right? So we've been kind of testing this thing and getting things right for Skeet's Vision. We did a lot of practice episodes, and one thing, Eric was never not. He hated the playing games, as some of the players do too.
Can I say that? There you go. Yes, because LeBron never played in college, right? The movie's out. He was going straight to the NBA. He knew it when he started 12th grade. Wasn't going to college. But he says at a press conference, what is this, the NCAA tournament? Like, they came up with the playing game because certain programs, rightfully so, were good enough to get into the NCAA tournament. The NBA playoffs wasn't really broke, Kev. It wasn't nothing wrong with it. Like 1 through 8. Now, you had to battle to get to 8. You could rest guys in it. There was a meaningful meaning to resting guys when you were set in your spots in the playoffs come April, come the end of the season in the NBA. It wasn't broken.
Right.
It wasn't broken. So the bubble, obviously, pandemic, put everybody in a different frame of mind on how to go about things, how to do. I get that. But Miami lost the first game in the play-in, right? Like, they lost the first. They lost to Atlanta. Atlanta, the 7th seed. They came home there to play Chicago. Woo!
Yeah. So are you having just recency bias because this year it worked out, or you
Yeah.
on board? Okay. Okay.
Well, because in the history of the game, it ain't even just in my time. In the history of the game, the NBA, if you didn't make 8, you didn't make it.
Hmm.
They've had playoff, extra playing games when it was tied for the 8th spot. They've done that before. But to give 9 and 10 a chance to beat 7 and 8 when
Yeah.
you've probably earned that over 82 nights, I wasn't with it. But yes, the recency bias of Jimmy Butler, Hemi, right? Playoff Jimmy, and what he's done. And you got to give credit to Pat Riley and Spoelstra and the way that Alonzo Mourning, like the way Miami does things. They went in and knocked Milwaukee off, right? Milwaukee, they had Chris Middleton back, right? Healthy. And the whole squad, everybody's there. Whew. Took them in what? 5?
Mm-hmm.
4-1? Okay. Got my attention. I'm listening, right? What does they say on the wire? Omar listening.
Come on. He sure was.
Yes, sir. And we get to because you got Philly and Boston on the other side, right? Who did Miami play the next round, Kevin? I'm drawing a blank right now.
It was Milwaukee into New York.
Thank you. Oh, the Garden. Right, exactly. They're going into New York.
Clean them boys right up.
And so up 3-0, lose 3 straight. It's like, oh boy. You know what I mean? With Jaylen Brown and Tatum were like, don't let me get 1. Oh, they let us get 1. Don't let us get 2. Here come Marcus Smart. And to their credit, Boston, I don't know if it was just the Philly series and what it took out of them. 51 in Game 7. They had to win Game 6 on the road, so Boston took a lot of energy out of them. And then, there's rumors that the loss of Damon Stoudemire on the coaching staff and the relationship with the players in the middle of the season, like Dame left in March. So, they're making that stretch run. You never know. So, Heat, they go in and win Game 7 in Boston. Hey, bro, like the play-in, the NBA marketing, you get an extra game, season ticket holders, the TV, the TV rights, they got a bigger package now. There's more games, right?
Well,
I'm adapting. I'm adjusting.
To this point, we've seen Game 1 in the NBA Finals, and there's a separation there. And it's one game. The Nuggets were resting for, over a week, kind of waiting. We're literally waiting on who their opponent would be. But Game 1, if we're just going by that Game 1 sample, it did not look like those two teams belonged in the same gym at the same time at this point in the season.
Well, there's rest over rust, right?
Mm-hmm.
So doesn't look like they were rusty, the Denver Nuggets.
No,
right?
Not at all.
So credit to their conditioning, like, Joker said they've done something, but they, like, Mike Malone's been there before. Don't forget he was Mike Brown's assistant with Cleveland Cavaliers. So he has been to the finals as a coach, Mike Malone. So give him a little credit. And he had a chip on his shoulder sweeping the Lakers. And after Game 1, when the Lakers lost it, when the Nuggets beat the Lakers, everybody was talking about, Mike Malone said the narrative was
he's been all in. Yeah, y'all not talking
the
about
Lakers have figured out the Nuggets. So give credit to Joker. But yes, Miami now had to go to, and I've heard different stories. I heard they had the plane waiting to go right from Boston to Denver, or did they go back to Miami? I heard Lonzo was posting pictures from the golf course in Miami, then got on the plane. I don't know. But we'll be on the golf course in Boston. I don't know. Or Denver. So, but anyway, Miami got there. It's Game 1. They always give these statistics. Who was won Game 1, has won the series, all that. Those numbers are made, those records are made to be broken. So that's Game 2. This is the big one, because if Miami gets 1, that's it. That's what they came for. They came. When the road team wins the game is when the series starts. Who's Michael Jordan? So Everything comes through Chicago. So,
But Skeet, you saw game one. I mean, even if Tyler Herro was there, if Duncan just went off again. I mean, the final score was significantly closer than the game itself. I mean, you've seen game one. We do know Miami's resolve, but does Miami really have a chance in this series, or are they just literally outmanned here?
No, they got a chance. They got a chance. And Tyler Herro comes back, it'll be a great thing because I mentioned David Stern. He's probably rolling over in his grave based on the way Tyler Herro's dressing on the bench. So I'd like to see him in a uniform, get him out that garbage he wearing on the bench. I'm the AI, everything but the chip special that just came on brought me back to watching these guys sitting on the bench. And if you're not playing in your work uniform, then, look the part, look professional. I mean, Tyler Herro had a bucket hat on with some beach, I don't know, some kind of khaki, linen or whatever. Like, what are you doing, bro?
That's called swag, Skeet. That's called swag.
No, it's called a rap video. I get that, bro. Mm-hmm. Swag is for when if you coming in and you suiting up, okay, yeah, I get it. Russell Wilson and the outfits he wore, and my man Kyle Kuzma got the stuff all over his body, wearing look like his grandmother hand knitted a big body. Yeah. Listen, but guess what they did? They took that off, went out on the court and played. Tyler Herro.
Well, let me ask you something, Skeet. So, when's the last time you actually dressed up for an event? So, when's the last time you actually were going to an event and had to put on something?
This year's coaching at Coppin State, the MEAC banquet, the conference tournament. The start of the conference tournament at a banquet.
What you wear?
Sport coat shirt and ties. Some Nike, some Lululemons, and some sneakers. Had some sneakers on, but sneakers are in style with a shirt and tie, a collar shirt and a jacket.
What did the student athletes wear?
They either wore a suit, they wore a sweatsuit. No. We got our guys custom made suits.
But y'all did that though. So
yes,
yeah,
right.
But,
there you go. Say it. Go ahead. What's your chest? We did that. Tyler Herro making how many tens of millions of dollars to hoop? Yeah, you wear all that guy. There's a lot of nights.
His outfit probably cost more than my vehicle.
Regardless, Kev, it's a perfect. Like this is what I'm saying. David Stern is rolling over in his grave. You're coming towards $1 billion industry. NBA basketball and you're setting a precedent. No, you're not a role model, but a level of professionalism when you come into work. That's all. The swag, I get that. I got my closet got some swag in it, bro. Trust me. But there's a time and a place for certain swag, right?
You got like the top hat with the matching handkerchiefs going there.
I got some brims. I got a cashmere with the fur. Yeah,
that's that 70s swag. You got bell bottoms in there?
No. Listen, timeless.
That's what we call it.
You understand? Some things cashmere with the mink are timeless. Okay,
cashmere with the mink.
And Air Force Ones since '82 are now timeless.
I just don't know how fair this is because, like, how if you go back, when did you can wear sweatpants with suits now. Sweatpants,
cut it out.
The joggers.
Cut it out. You're going to somewhere specific, the gala. Okay, the Met Gala or something like that, where you have
joggers. You could find jogger suit pants now with the drawstring. I'm
gonna pray for you. I'm gonna pray for you.
It's out here. I'm sorry, but that's a
jogger.
Even if
jogger, I see jogger jeans. My son's got jogger jeans.
Jogger jeans, yeah, man.
Jogger dress pants, Ken.
These are your friends, man. Yeah, these are your friends, man.
So with Tyler Herro coming back on the court, gives Miami some more weapons, and they'll need it because the altitude it hit them. It hit them. You saw Haywood Highsmith. Shout out to Catonsville. Haywood Highsmith Jr. have a great game. Had his career high in the first game of the NBA Finals. Congrats to the kid. But they had to play him. He didn't play that much the whole series because they were tired. That altitude affected Miami.
You ain't talk about the Denver Nuggets all year, but I'll ask you, how does this story end, Skeet? Now that you're a big Denver Nuggets fan with the billboard on your chest. What's
Nuggets in 6? You go back through the fouls. Go back through the files. I'm sure I wore some Nuggets gear before. Nuggets in 6. No more than 6. No more than. I think Miami get one. Miami's going to get one again because their pride and they've earned it. But their record, says who you are. What is it? Your record, Bill Parcells. You are who your record says you are.
Mm-hmm.
They were they were 9th and 10th all year long. So yes, they're healthy, but they had Tyler Herro too when they were 8th, 9th, and 10th in the regular season. Now it's playoffs, different time of the year. Big game James, my man Jimmy Butler, they raised their level of play. James Worthy, people don't know Big Game James is for the Lakers with Magic Johnson. Okay, his stats were better in the playoffs than they were in the regular season. Jimmy Butler has put his organization on his back. There's no discounted. Bam and these. How many guys do they have undrafted?
Pretty much the whole team.
7?
Yeah.
7 dudes on that roster that are undrafted. Okay. So to their credit, they've overachieved being here in the finals. Mm-hmm. They get one in Denver, it's a different ballgame. But Denver was in the bubble with them that same time they lost to the Lakers in the conference finals.
Right.
Kyler Murray got hurt. Lost a tough one last year. It's the process. Taking the steps. Miami too, to their credit. But they've had Eric Spoelstra has won championships, so he's been there before.
Is this Heat team better than the one that faced the Lakers in the bubble?
On paper, healthy, possibly. But, you got more name brand. Like, these guys are not, Scherzer and they're not name brand guys. Hayward, Truce. Truce, I think, is a defensive liability. But he's still putting that ball in the basket. The ball leaves his hands. It's going in. There's something to be said about that. So
I just it feels outclassed, and I feel they're even more outclassed than they were even in that 2020 final with the Lakers where they lost in 6, and Jimmy Butler was just, he was godlike in that series, and Jimmy's got to do too much in this series to.
Yeah, well, you got Kyle Lowry. I think their secret weapons, Kevin Love. Kyle Lowry. I think the old heads that's won championships. I look for them to have a bigger impact in game 2 and moving on in the series because they've been there before. They know what it takes. Kevin Love's been there a couple times. So same with Kyle Lowry. Yeah. So
the issue is what they're gonna do defensively. It's too much.
That zone. That zone.
Yeah, it's Denver got too much over there, man.
Well, and that's a credit to Denver too.
Right.
Michael Porter Jr. And shout out to the Denver again. Go back to these guys, Tim Connolly and Jimmy Clem and the staff and the upper management that drafted these guys. Joker was a 2nd round pick. Michael Porter Jr. had some serious, and he played 8, 9, 10 games in college. Shout out to the college coach Conzo Martin, my man. They've had Kyler Murray, Kentucky. Big time player, right? Aaron Gordon with the trade from Orlando. So they made some moves to piece this thing together. And you got a 2-time MVP setting the record in triple doubles. Give Denver credit for building this thing and sticking with Mike Malone. Right? We're going to get into that later. These coaching changes, they stuck with Mike Malone.
Yeah.
Paid off.
It's now time for a new game. It's called What Did They Say? The rules are, I'm going to play a video. One of the words are going to be bleeped out.
Okay.
Could be vulgar. It could be clean. Eric Skeeter has to guess what that word is. I'll play the full version, and then we'll see if Eric Skeeter was correct. Coach Skeeter, are you prepared?
Yeah, there's an old Heavy D song. It's called Don't Cuss. Don't Curse. Don't Cuss. We got to see if we can find that and play that.
All right. No. We ain't got that kind of money around here.
Shout out to old hip-hop where they didn't cuss on the hip-hop. Yeah, Heavy D. R.I.P. big fella.
All right, Skeet. So I'm going to give you 3 examples. The first will be the unfortunate loser head coach of Game 1 of the NBA Finals. His name is Eric Spoelstra, phenomenal coach for the Miami Heat. I'm going to give you this example. You're going to tell me what he said. Here we go.
It always kind of could look different. A few of these go down at the right time.
Eric Skeeter.
Oh, well.
Need to hear it again, or you come?
No. Shots. He's definitely talking about shots. Something going down, that means the ball's going in the basket. Yeah. He didn't cuss on that. He didn't.
Okay. So no curse, but the word was shot.
Yeah. If some of these shots go down, unless you're talking about players getting hurt, then it could be the players being injured, and a player go down in regards to being hurt.
You're wavering now. All right, I'm gonna play it one more time. Here we go.
It always kind of could look different. If a few of these go down at the right time.
Shot.
Okay. All right. Here's the full version. Let's see if Eric Skeeter was correct.
It always kind of could look different. If a few of these threes go down at the right time.
Tell him what he won, Bob.
Threes go down, not shots. That's
Shots
not the same thing. You were incorrect. You were 0 for 1 at this time. Yep, threes and shots are not the same word. So now, Skater, you have missed one. All right, so here's attempt number 2.
Wait, Povich, bro, come on.
Here's attempt number 2. Skeeter is 0 for 1 so far. Attempt number 2. We're going to go to the great Jamal Murray. Had a phenomenal game in game 1. He's been lights out this entire playoff run, but let's see what Jamal Murray had to say in his post-game conference presser thing.
He's a guy. So he's gonna get boards and rebound the ball and just be physical down there regardless. So
play it again, because now I got the full. Play it again.
He's a guy. So he's gonna get boards and rebound the ball and just be physical down there regardless. So
Skater, it's the same word used twice. What is that word?
Talented guy. He's a hard worker. He might have cussed on that. Because it wasn't like it wasn't multiple words, and it wasn't like 3 syllables. Talented. He's a guy. He's a tough guy. He's a. I'm gonna go with tough guy.
Running back one more time. I'm running back one more time.
He's a guy. So he's gonna get boards and rebound the ball and just be physical down there regardless. So.
He's either an effing guy or a talented tough guy. I would say tough guy. I'll say tough guy. I'm thinking with tough guy. Tough guy.
Let's see what Jamal Murray had to say.
He's a heavy guy. So he's gonna get boards and rebound the ball and just be physical down there regardless. So
much to my glee, Eric Skeeter is 0 for 2.
I watch a lot of the pressers, bro. I turn to the pressers. So I'm okay. I'll pay a little closer attention now. Yeah. But tell me what the prize is.
For being wrong twice? What you need?
Because I got the first one right. I said shots. He said threes. You know what I'm saying?
That's 2 completely different words.
Ahead.
What are we doing here? What's this, lacrosse? All right, so we got one more. Eric Skeeter's currently 0 for 3. We're going to go to the man we spoke about a little bit. His name is Jimmy Butler. He was sitting there next to Gabe Vincent, who stunk it up. Ooh, he got destroyed in game 1. But Jimmy Butler had some words to say. Let's see if Eric Skeeter can get on the board here for the final attempt. Here's Jimmy Butler.
Maybe I have to be a little bit more aggressive. I got to put pressure on the rim. Me with no that was all on myself, nobody else. So, we'll definitely correct that next game.
Yeah, no free throw.
One more time, or you good?
Go ahead. Play one more time.
Maybe I have to be a little bit more aggressive. I got to put pressure on the rim. Me with no that was all on myself, nobody else. So, we'll definitely correct.
That's a crazy statement with that bleep in there, but
free throws, play. Tell him.
Maybe I have to be a little bit more aggressive. I got to put pressure on the rim. Me with no free throws, that was all on myself, nobody.
Baby, 2 for 3. I'm 2 for 3.
So 1 for 3 goes Eric Skeeter.
Elbow win.
1 for 3 goes Eric Skeeter in the first edition of What Did They Say? Congratulations for
two-eyed shooter.
losing the first ever attempt at this game. Great job, Eric Skeeter.
I'm 2 for 3, bro. I wouldn't go to the monitor. Go to the monitor.
We stay in the NBA. There's quite a few moves here. Frank Vogel. I don't know how he keeps getting these opportunities. Frank Vogel in Phoenix. Monty Williams actually accepted the opportunity in Detroit. He's got some guard play there if he can figure that out. Adrian Griffin, a surprise hire, but a great opportunity for him in Milwaukee. And Nick Nurse, going from a situation with Kawhi Leonard, and then Kawhi leaves, it all looks different, and then he gets Joel Embiid in Philly. You impressed? What do you think about these hires?
So, Frank Vogel was a great defensive coach in Indiana. They gave LeBron and Dwayne Wade and that Miami organization fits a young PG-13. So, goes to the bubble with the Lakers, takes that job, ends up in the bubble. Credit to Frank Vogel to man that operation with all the distractions that were in the bubble, got a ring. He came out with a ring. When you put an asterisk next to the bubble championship, it leveled the playing field for everybody. So they showed highlights of Kyle Lowry and Aaron Gordon and their little beef. Kyle telling what room they're in. It was the big AAU tournament, the best players in the world, right? So nobody had a road game. So the Lakers, led by Frank Vogel and his staff, found a way to come out with the ring. So that's why he gets another opportunity. Things didn't work in LA. Hey, things don't work a lot of places for guys after they win a championship. Doc left Boston, right? Phil Jackson left Chicago, was forced out of Chicago.
We just going to ignore Vogel in Orlando?
No, but he gets an opportunity. He got it. So, Doc coaching Orlando too now, and went back to TV. So, there's to his credit, he's won. He won big with the Lakers. Give credit to circumstances. I think it was a harder championship besides the travel, that everybody was on a level playing field. And obviously those teams were really good because all four of them made it back to each conference finals a couple of years later. He's going to Phoenix where they've been to a finals. Super talented. I'm anxious to see how with KD, Chris Paul, and Devin Booker, how that works out with Frank, his coaching staff, his assistant coaches. Like, that's a big part of it too. So that's a good hire. I think Frank Vogel is a good hire. Other people were candidates for that job. I think that's a good championship coach. Okay, let's go to your second choice. Monty Williams has taken a organization in the Phoenix Suns back to the finals. Okay, had the piece with Kevin Durant, but what he played 10 games before he got hurt. The way he got hurt was whew, I don't know what that was. Kev,
folks get fired for that,
bruh. Is the floor dry?
Right.
Come on, man. I'll take that job. Come on, bro. So, but stuff happened for a reason. But Monty Williams, and with the job that he's done in Phoenix, proven head coach, could have had the Notre Dame job if he wanted it. Did not. Stayed in the NBA, and now he's the richest coach in the history of all coaches. What was it, 13 million, 12 million a year? And Troy Weaver, the GM for the Detroit Pistons, also from the DMV. So, he took care of his homeboy. And literally a great coach. Again, Monty, I think there's an assistant on there, Kevin Young. Shout out to the assistant coaches on the Top Assistant Show.
Come on.
That wants to stay, or they want to stay in Phoenix. I think, they're going to make it worth his while to go to Detroit. Great young crew, Jalen Duran, and, you got a great group of guys. Jason Ivey, Kit Kat, Cade, that's a good young group. Dwayne Casey did a great job with them. They're young, but they coming. They're coming. Adrian Griffin, bro. Shout out to the the job he did in Toronto, but the Milwaukee Bucks, we're going with another guy that that has championship experience. Like, Darvin Ham got hired with the Lakers, being an assistant for a while. Now Adrian Griffin, former player. Now Seton Hall, okay, cut his teeth in the D League back then, the Development League, and then the USBL. So, and then obviously had a 10-year playing career in the NBA. Gets an opportunity now to call timeouts, draw up plays, and be a head coach with arguably one of the greatest players in the game right now, in Giannis, the Greek freak. So Milwaukee's got again, they got a ring. These guys, Chris Middleton, all these guys coming back have a ring. So it makes, and had a heartbreaking upset in the first round of the playoffs. So it's a good hire. I think it's a great hire. And he worked with Nick Nurse, who's now in Philly. I thought he handled the James Harden question great. Literally, like, if James had a big decision to make, I'll be happy. You can't, when you put them guys under the gun like that, he just got the job. Like, give him a chance to go to the grocery store and buy the groceries if he's gonna cook the dinner. Like, he ain't even got, you put the menu together. So Joel Embiid, that crew in Philly, I think Doc did a great job. Sam Cassell developed, some more great players, like he did with John Wall and Bradley Beal in Washington, like he did with, the guys out with the Clippers, and, Chris Paul's a vet. And now he did it again in Philly with Tyrese Maxey. And I bet you he played an impact in James Harden leading the league in assists this year. Sam Cassell deserves a job, right? And he's going to get one. And when he gets one, watch out, because he's won 3 rings as a player and developed a lot of good young guys. But these are great hires. My man Nick Nurse in Philly has, and Nick Nurse is a lifer. So in coaching, there's somebody that's been in the game for, like just grinding it out at all the different levels: high school, JUCO, G League, the low Division I, and then you come on as an assistant in the G League, or D League as it was called back in the day. Like, Nick Nurse is a lifer. Like, he's literally got to slide over one seat. Yeah, he picked up Kawhi Leonard. It wasn't a bad pickup for 1 year. He got the 5 bounces, and that's sports.
Right.
That's sports. All excellent hires, in my opinion.
All excellent hires.
All excellent hires. Now, wins and losses, that's obviously yet to be determined. But with the organizations, and you look at these guys and what they've accomplished coming in, Adrian Griffin definitely deserves the opportunity. Right? Cut his teeth as a coach in the league for a long time. Has a championship ring as an assistant coach with Toronto, I'm pretty sure. Frank Vogel, Nick Nurse with championships as head coaches. Okay. That's not to be discounted. When you're coaching, let's not downplay that these guys have won championships. Okay, let's not downplay that as head coach. So, and
let me get you some, Ski, because we obviously each coach has their welcome, and the media comes in, sits down, sits with them, and ask questions of them, and we saw this, Nick Nurse getting peppered with questions, and one of the guys in Philly just came off a little rude, and you didn't answer my question. You didn't answer. What are your thoughts on media, and where's the boundaries there in respect when it comes to coaches, media, players, that sort of deal?
Whatever the boundaries are, that you're gonna have to stretch them in Philly, because they're not going to adhere to those boundaries. Different sports time. New York, Chicago, LA, the Texas, Dallas, all across the world. Philly is the only town that boos Santa Claus. You understand? So the mindset of the media and the scrutiny and the love, the city of brotherly love brings to you when you coming in, like blue collar to the umpteenth degree, gritty, hardworking. They're not. They play in Philly. They play by their own rules. I have a good relationship with the city of Philadelphia since coaching at Coppin State in the 90s. So Coppin State built its programs. Coach Frank Mitchell, Derek Brown built one of the most successful HBCU basketball programs on players from Philly and South Jersey, and that mindset. So it's a mindset of, and it's why Philly and Baltimore get along so well, because there's a mindset of overachieving. There's a toughness and intelligence. Like, learned this from, and so here's Philly. Here's a Philly philosophy for you in recruiting. All right, Coach Brown, he's always from Camden, but he recruited a lot of kids in Philly. Derek Brown. He said 2 things you look for in recruits: toughness and intelligence. So gritty, be able to fight through things, toughness to overcome adversity, dive on the floor for loose balls, cheer for your teammates when you come out the game. Intelligence, great communication with your teammates, great communication with the coaches. You watch the players as they go to the bench. Toughness and intelligence are 2 key factors. Game on the line. What are the decisions that they make? Right? Because the opposite, I can't even get it out without laughing, is a gutless dummy. And who wants a gutless dummy, in the words of Coach Brown? So that's Philly. So when you come into Nick Nurse, you took that job. I hope he did his homework. I hope he talked to Doc or Bill Cunningham or Jay Wright or Charles Barkley. You talking about Philly basketball? Philly basketball? I mean,
so if that's you in that seat, if that's you in that seat and you get hit, with well, you didn't answer my question. What are you talking about? What are you doing in that role?
Everybody's not polished. Like Greg Popovich, you compare Greg Popovich and his press conference to Bill Belichick, right? And then you got Bill Parcells, and obviously Belichick is a disciple of Bill Parcells, compared to a Phil Jackson and his philosophies, or a Pat Riley, and he calls it, like, everybody has different personalities and their approaches to answering questions. Literally. And John Harbaugh, I mean, he's just pulling stuff out of the air, right? But his brother, Jim Harbaugh, right, is just the total opposite. He's going right between the eyes, right? He's answering questions, and it's like, so smack the guy on the butt after the game, you already start a fight. You know who the coach was when the fighting, where he from? He's from Baltimore, Detroit Lions, when they played. So when he was coaching the 49ers. So everybody in those press conferences handle it differently. Like, Nick Nurse is not that personality of, witty and things of that nature with his one-liners and things of that nature. He's not, from what I've seen over the years of Nick Nurse, not that guy. So got to get a little tougher skin. He's going to Sonny Hill and the Sonny, the guys in Philly, they're going to bring it to, Sunday in the living room with Sonny Hill on Sunday mornings. It's a different, it's like New York is 8 million stories. New York, the media capital of the world, right? But no knock on New York. A little hype, but I love the Garden, the Mecca of basketball. No better place to play college or pro basketball than Madison Square Garden. Okay, I think it's right there over my right shoulder. But at the same time, Nick Nurse is in Philly. He's been in Toronto. Like, it's 2 totally different worlds. So let's stay tuned, as they say. Stay tuned.
So let's fast forward a few years. Let me pepper you some questions here. Who will have a worse record in 3 years at their stop? Will it be Nick Nurse in Philly, Adrian Griffin in Milwaukee, Monty Williams in Detroit, or Frank Vogel in Phoenix?
I could give you that one. It's probably going to be Detroit because they're building. I would say Monty Williams may have the worst record in 3 years. But in the East, you have teams, organizations with a losing record under 500 in the regular season, and still, with the playing game, be able to be successful in the playoffs. So I would say that, and Monty does a good job if they stay healthy. They got to make the right trades. They're still putting Detroit together in regards to this rebuild with these young guys that we mentioned, Cade Cunningham, Ivy. Now they're going to play together. They haven't played together yet, for a full season. So, I would say Monty Williams.
Who has the best record in 3 years?
Just based on personnel, it's got to be Phoenix. You got if they stay together. If KD's in Phoenix for 3 years with Chris Paul and Devin Booker and the big fella, DeAndre Ayton, like, It's got to be Phoenix. I mean, just on paper, talent alone.
Kevin Durant ain't no spring chicken, and
neither is LeBron.
And DeAndre Ayton is he's going to be in Phoenix.
Watch what I'm saying. If they keep that together, if they trade him, they're going to get something for him. They're going to get something for him. And
Frank Vogel get another opportunity like this. I don't understand.
Frank Vogel. So, but dig this, Kev. The NBA is a players' league. It's definitely a players' league. So that's on KD. Obviously, he's got an asterisk next to his championship, even though he was the Finals MVP for 2 years at Golden State. But he got 2 of them. Got hurt. Should have got 3 of them. Could have got 3 of them, but got hurt. Okay. If his foot was a 15 versus 17, he might have got a third with Brooklyn. They would have beat Milwaukee. So all these teams, they play out health. Like Chris Paul still hasn't stayed healthy in the playoffs. He's still take the shot. I don't know what, I pray for Chris Paul, bro, because, you want one of the most competitive, toughest, most productive point guards in the history of the game.
Yeah.
You're talking about one of the greats, a Hall of Famer, right? But only made 1 Finals because he can't stay healthy. But if that organization, them teams, that group, that foursome stays together, Phoenix has, LeBron has proven that there's a recipe for longevity, Tom Brady, in professional sports today. And it's called working on your body in the off season. You hear me?
Durant.
If you hear me, AD, Anthony Davis.
Oh, boy.
You hear me? Okay.
And this is a tough one, Skeet. Does either one of these coaches win an NBA Finals in their tenure?
Who you got?
Does any of them? Is it Nick Nurse, Griffin, Monty Williams? We could probably, this is a guard-friendly game. He might mess around and
never say never.
Yeah.
Phoenix. I'm going with Phoenix. I'm going with KD. Shout out to Tony Durant, Wayne Pratt, Wanda Durant, the Durant family. I was fortunate enough to coach Tony in college at Towson. Kevin's big brother, Tony Durant. Phoenix. Phoenix. Frank Vogel obviously been there. Obviously was in the bubble, but putting it together over 82 and then getting through 16 in the playoffs, 16 wins in the playoffs. I like their chances. I really do. I'm sure they all sitting down right now, getting ready for the draft, wherever they are in the off season, getting their bodies right, getting their minds right. Okay. I like Phoenix. I like Phoenix to get around. I liked them this year with Monty, but Kevin was healthy. Kevin Durant was healthy. He only played 10 games going into the playoffs. Traded mid-year. They got a whole off season now together. That off season means something. Off-season means something, Kevin. The UMBC, that history-making team, the off-season from year 1 to year 2 with the Coach Ryan Odom under his leadership and what he did defensively, how we focused in defensively, there was a big point of emphasis, and the play never gets – and I'll show you I'll send you the clip where you can put it up, the picture that won UMBC the championship in America. He's beating Vermont. It wasn't Jared Lyle's last-minute shot. It was a block by – Max Kern and Jordan Grant on the best player in the America East Conference, and that same possession translated into Jared Lyle's buzzer beater shot. So defense, Phoenix going to work on some things in the offseason. Frank Vogel is known for his defense. Those teams with Indiana, PG-13 was a different type player on the defensive end. He was guarding LeBron James in their prime.
Yeah.
So I like Phoenix. I really do.
What about the defense in Orlando? So we never really got to talk about this, but you've been coaching up and down the coast and a head coach as well. Monty Williams, can you get us into the mindset of a gentleman who takes you to the NBA Finals, does come up short. A new owner comes in, things kind of shake ground, but a lot of movement outside, players and administration, and you lose your job a year removed from an NBA Finals appearance. What could possibly be going through your mind if you're Monty Williams? And are there even thoughts of, do I even want to do this anymore at this level?
I'm sure he's very focused on what the job entails. Monty Williams, if you remember, lost his wife when he was coaching in New Orleans. A tragic accident. And so having to come back from that, he's a very spiritual believer, God-driven believer. He's up to the task. He's definitely up to the task for what it's going to take in Detroit to win basketball games. That man is so focused. Remember what they did in the bubble with that group, and that's how they had to win. They went undefeated and did not make the playoffs in the bubble. Monty Williams, I'm say that Phoenix did not lose a game in the bubble and still didn't qualify. So that's why they were able to accomplish what they accomplished with adding Chris Paul and getting to the finals. And going to Detroit, yes, it's they know what winning is like with the Detroit Pistons organization. Okay, from the ownership on down, the history: Isaiah Thomas, Joe Dumars, Vinny the Microwave Johnson, Bill Lambert, Rick Mahorn. That the bad boys. Detroit knows about winning. Okay, the guy don't get his credit, don't get his due. Isaiah Thomas, pound for pound, one of the best point guards ever to play. Ever. Dream team. Obviously, we know what happened with that. Glad him and Magic patched it up. Looking for Isaiah and Michael Jordan to patch it up. You grown men, sit down and talk about it and tape it for everybody to see that two men can come together. But Monty Williams, he's up to the task. He can handle it. He's when you put somebody in the ground that you love and they move on and they're with you from above. I think he could handle anything when he can, and he showed. He had a great year this year. Just dealt with injuries, and taking that Detroit job. I'm sure he did a lot of communicating with his family, with the organization. Hey, Detroit, from what I understand and what I've seen, downtown Detroit, I think it might put my town, Baltimore, we might got some fixing up to do. There's no longer I hit downtown.
I didn't know where you were going, if you were going to go to the level of danger or to the level of downtown. But y'all are probably neck and neck in the danger piece for
really
sure.
Nice. They have people like Draymond Green and some others.
What's that mean?
Jalen Rose. I think, from what I understand, they've invested in downtown Detroit and
the downtown areas. I thought we were going into the neighborhoods. I didn't know where you were going.
Not 8 Mile. No, not 5th Mile. No. Yeah, shout out to Smoke, Marlon Williamson, one of my former players from Youngstown. Yeah. Listen, I ain't done about 8 Mile Road or going to the Lobo or Cobo, whatever they call it, where University of Detroit play Detroit Mercy plays.
I don't want no trouble with Detroit, the DMV, nothing.
Nice time. Honestly, bro, I've had some good times in Detroit, bro. Honestly, good food, good people, cold. Just,
Oh, it is brittle up there. It does get brittle. Yeah. All right, Skeet. I think you played a good game today, even though you sold out on all your NBA loyalties. You lost the game, actually. Yeah, you went 1 for 3 in the first ever edition. What did they say? We'll review the tapes and get back to you. But yeah, man, it was a good game. Why don't you close us out? It's time for Understand Something with Coach Eric Skeeters.
So, understand something. Being a part of a team is not a right for the youth of today. When we talked about Tyler Herro and the clothes that he wears, being a part of a team is an honor and a privilege. Talk about Little League, making a high school team. I grew up in an era of Summer League. BNBL was the biggest thing. That was AAU in the 70s and 80s in Baltimore. Just talk about my hometown. And when you come to tryouts, 13 under, 15 under, even 11 under, okay, they line you up on the wall maybe first, second day, even the first day, and they go down the wall. You stay, you go home. You stay, you go home, you go home. Didn't I tell you, don't wear that in here no more? You go home. Like, you got cut, right? You looked up on the list on the coach's office the day after trials to see if you made the cut list, see if you made the team. A lot of things in life are consistent of teams, doctors. There's a team of doctors, okay? The military, there's a team to strategically win battles, okay? In the post office, there's a team to organizing the mail. There's different leaders, different roles on a team. When you talk about being on a team, you talk about identifying somebody's role on that team. President, vice president, secretary of state, all the different members of the cabinets, okay? Not only identifying your role, embracing your role. Whatever your role is, whatever your assignment is. Starring in your role as a member of a team, right? You hear people, it's the whole catchphrase now is stay ready so you don't have to get ready, right? Where a guy will come off the bench, Eddie House with the Boston Celtics in those championship years with KG, Ray Allen, and the big three. They don't talk about Eddie House as much. Starred in his role. Understand, being a part of a team is a privilege. It's an honor. It's not a right, because you will be a part of a team for the rest of your life, a member of a family. You're a part of a team, mom, dad, sister, brother, okay? That's a team. So in all walks of life, being a part of a team is something to cherish. It's not just, hey, you know, you're gonna buy your way, you're gonna put money together to put a team together. Shout out to all the parents and the coaches in all sports and all walks of life who dedicate their free time and volunteer to coach Little League in whatever sport it is. Volunteer coaches, they get all the credit in the world, okay, for taking on the challenge of teaching someone else's child a sport. Softball, baseball, hockey, lacrosse, basketball, football, equestrian, horseback riding, swimming, right? The dangers, okay? The impact that you have on these young people, okay? Credit to the coaches. Obviously, having, you know, been fortunate to have the opportunity to call myself coach professionally for 30 years or so, give or take. Like, I've worked in General Motors, I've worked in the family business, in the auto industry. You're a part of a team putting that vehicle together. I worked at General Motors cab in the 90s as vacation replacement. Okay, summer vacation, hunting season on Brony Highway, making the Astro van. And all my friends in my group chat from Baltimore, yeah, the Astro vans, bro, the Safari vans. I had a lot of different jobs where literally I could not close my hands on the steering wheel after a 10-hour, 8.996 hour shift. I had to drive home like this with my hands on the steering because I was lifting a 3-pound spring and spring and axle, right, and putting it on the vehicle, and then had to put another part on the chassis, or the horse we called it, the frame of an Astro van or Safari van. So that's a team, and everybody had their job to do on that line. And the end, you know, obviously the end result was a brand new vehicle. So being a part of a team, understand this, and that's again, I love this part because I want to make this clear to every athlete, male or female. Okay, to every athlete, every sport, embrace it, cherish it, because once it's over, right? And you look at LeBron's playing 20 years, and shout out to Kareem, because Kareem ain't had no 3-pointers. Okay, that's a conversation for another day. LeBron passed it, right? But being a part of a team, LeBron been on multiple teams, won multiple championships, okay, with multiple organizations, 3. So I can't even my stomach is empty right now, because the fortunate thing. Here's the best part about it. This picture right here above me. The description says, a good coach can change a game, but a great coach can change a life. Being a part of a team puts you in a position to experience those life-changing moments. And that's to be honored for life.
Understand Something with Coach Eric Skeeter. That's our time. Episode 2 of Top Assistant with Big Time Skeet. He showed up late. He rocking brand new gear. Representing teams they ain't talked about in years.
Go Nuggets. Go Nuggets. Go Nugs. My man Jimmy Clear gonna like that. I'm sending it to Jimmy Clear, a.k.a. James Klibanoff.
We'll see y'all next time on Top Assistant.